Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we try to cut through all the noise and get straight to the science-backed insights you need to be truly well-informed. Today, we're plunging into a topic that is just swamped with confusing, often unproven information online. How to lose weight naturally.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
For this deep dive, we're actually relying on a very recent Healthline article. It's medically reviewed by Jared Meacham, PhD, RD, CSCS, and written by Etta Jarnadottir, also an RDN.
Good credentials there.
Right. And it was updated just this past December 9th, 2024. So it's fresh, it's highly credible. Our mission is pretty clear. Give you a clear, actionable shortcut to understanding what really works, backed by hard science.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this.
And it's so crucial, isn't it, to distinguish what's genuinely proven from what's just, well, another passing fad, especially with weight management. There's so much conflicting advice out there. So our goal today is really to help you understand not just what methods are supported by science, but why they matter for your overall well-being, how they add up to sustainable health.
Okay, great. So let's kick things off with, I guess, the absolute foundation, what and how you eat.
Makes sense.
The article really hammers home this idea that protein is like a powerhouse nutrient for this.
Yeah.
But beyond just eat more protein, what's the actual core science? What makes it such a game changer?
Right. Well, that's where the deep dive comes in. It's not just about feeling full, although, yeah, that's a huge benefit.
Okay.
The core insight here is protein's thermic effect. Your body actually uses more energy just to digest and metabolize protein than it does for carbs or fats.
Really? More energy?
Yeah, it's like your internal furnace gets a significant boost. So you're literally burning more calories just by prioritizing protein. And yes, high-protein diets genuinely do increase fullness, reduce appetite. Studies show this leads to fewer daily calories taken in. Even something simple like a high-protein breakfast, say eggs, can set that powerful metabolic and, satiety effect in motion for the rest of the day.
That's fascinating. So it's not just calories in, but the calories burned processing what's in.
Exactly.
And that leads perfectly into another simple yet powerful strategy, the article champions. Basing your diet on whole, single-ingredient foods. It feels kind of intuitive, but what's the surprising depth here for someone who already knows processed foods are, bad?
Well, the genius of whole foods, as the source really emphasizes, is that they naturally cut out most of the added sugar, added fat, and those highly processed elements designed to make you overeat.
Right.
But maybe more profoundly, they are inherently very filling because of their fiber and water content.
Yeah.
So this allows you to feel satisfied and stay within healthy calorie limits without that feeling of conscious deprivation. Weight loss, in this context, often becomes a natural, healthy side effect of just nourishing your body properly.
So if whole foods are our allies,
Yeah.
the article makes a pretty stark contrast with what it calls the real trap, processed foods. It sounds almost like they're engineered to work against our natural fullness cues.
That's exactly it. They're formulated not just to be high in calories, sugar, fat, but often to create what the article actually describes as addictive-like eating.
Addictive-like, wow.
Yeah, they sort of bypass our natural fullness signals, making it incredibly easy to consume huge quantities without feeling truly satisfied.
And speaking of those engineered traps, let's talk about the sugar one.
Yeah.
The source is very clear about the big health risks of added sugar heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer.
Yeah, serious stuff.
But I was genuinely shocked by this statistic. Americans, on average, consume about 17 teaspoons of added sugar daily. That seems huge.
Yeah.
How does the article suggest we even start to tackle something so pervasive and often hidden?
That number is eye-opening, and it's largely because sugar hides under so many different names on ingredient lists and processed foods. It's tricky.
Right.
The key takeaway here is really to minimize intake by focusing on that whole food approach we just talked about. When you cut out processed items, you're automatically slashing a huge chunk of those hidden sugars.
Okay, that makes sense. And refined carbohydrates, they fall into a similar category, right?
Yeah.
What's the main issue with them beyond just being carbs?
Well, the refining process strips away most of the good stuff, the beneficial nutrients, and crucially, the fiber.
Oh, the fiber.
Exactly. So what's left are these easily digested carbs that can spike your blood sugar, lead to energy crashes, and increase the risk of overeating and chronic disease down the line. Think, the difference between a whole apple and apple juice or whole wheat versus white bread.
Got it. One gives sustained energy, the other, not so much.
Precisely. Leaves you wanting more pretty soon after.
Okay, so on the flip side, we have fruits and vegetables, the true superstars here. Everyone knows they're good for you, But what does the article reveal about why they're such a powerhouse for weight loss,
Yeah.
beyond just being generally healthy?
That's where this concept of energy density really comes into play. They are high in water, essential nutrients, and fiber, and generally have very low energy density.
Low energy density,
It
meaning?
means you can eat large servings, like a huge volume of food, and feel incredibly full without actually consuming a ton of calories.
Ah, okay. Like a cheat code for feeling full.
Sort of. And multiple studies have indeed linked increased fruit and vegetable intake directly to weight loss.
Right.
You're flooding your system with nutrients while naturally consuming fewer calories. It works.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, it sounds like it's all about optimizing our body's natural signals, right? These dietary shifts, more protein, whole foods, limiting the refined stuff and sugar, they aren't just about cutting calories. They fundamentally change how your body processes food, how full you feel, even your metabolic rate, creating this positive feedback loop for overall health.
Couldn't have said it better. What's fascinating here is how these simple changes cascade into broader health improvements. It's foundational.
And actually, that leads perfectly into another simple strategy: strategic stocking.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
The article points out that simply having nutrient-dense foods readily available, things like yogurt, whole fruit, nuts, carrots, hard-boiled eggs, just having them there at home dramatically reduces the chance you'll grab something less nutritious when hunger strikes.
It's about setting yourself up for success, right?
Right.
Making the healthy choice the easy choice. Simple but effective.
Definitely. Okay, so let's transition a bit from what's on your plate to the maybe often underestimated power of what we drink and how we approach our meals.
Right. Hydration and habits. Crucial.
And here, water really emerges as this unsung hero. How does just drinking water genuinely help with weight loss? Seems so basic.
It's surprisingly effective, especially, and this is key, when it replaces high-calorie and sugary beverages. That's a huge calorie swap right there.
Okay, that makes sense.
But beyond that, the article highlights that drinking water, say, 30 minutes to maybe 2 hours before meals might also lead to reduced calorie intake.
Wow.
Well, it literally takes up space in your stomach, contributing to a feeling of fullness before you even start eating.
Simple, but smart.
Yeah.
And beyond plain water, unsweetened coffee and green tea seem to offer some interesting benefits. I love my morning coffee, so what's the science that makes it weight loss friendly?
Well, good news for coffee lovers. Unsweetened coffee is loaded with antioxidants. It can actually increase energy levels and calorie burn,
Nice.
and may even reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. Black coffee is particularly good because it helps you feel full with almost 0 calories.
Okay. And green tea.
Similar story. Rich in antioxidants, linked to increased fat burning and weight management. The article even mentions matcha tea might offer even more benefits because it's a more concentrated form.
Interesting. But then there's the flip side to those helpful sips. Liquid calories.
Yes. The danger zone for many.
This one feels like a no-brainer, but what exactly are the impacts the source emphasizes? Why are they so bad?
Well, these are a major culprit. Think sugary soft drinks, fruit juices, even ones that sound healthy energy drinks, flavored milks.
Yeah.
They just don't provide the same satiety, the same feeling of fullness as solid food calories.
You just keep drinking them.
Pretty much. You consume them without really feeling full, which easily leads to an increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, even cancer, according to the source. It's a really significant area to pay attention to.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, moving on to some more targeted support. The article points to a couple of supplements with some science behind them. First, glucomannan.
Right, glucomannan.
I'm fascinated by this one. You don't hear about it as often. Can you break down what it is and why it's highlighted as effective?
Sure. Think of glucomannan like a tiny, super absorbent sponge that expands in your stomach.
That's a bunch.
Yeah. It's a water-soluble, natural dietary fiber from the roots of the konjac plant, sometimes called elephant yam. It's very low in calories, it takes up space in your stomach, it delays stomach emptying, and it might even reduce the absorption of protein and fat a bit.
Wow.
And the article highlights its really exceptional ability to absorb water, apparently. One capsule can turn an entire glass of water into gel. Imagine that happening inside you, contributing to feeling full.
That is fascinating. Okay, and then there are probiotics. We hear so much about gut health these days. How do these live bacteria specifically connect to weight loss?
Well, the connection is becoming clearer. Studies have observed that people who are overweight often have different gut bacteria compositions compared to leaner individuals. Probiotics might help regulate healthy gut bacteria. And the theory is they could potentially block some dietary fat absorption, maybe reduce appetite, reduce inflammation. It's about optimizing that internal ecosystem for better overall health, which could include weight management.
Right, the gut microbiome seems linked to everything these days.
It really does.
And for something a little spicier, the article mentions chili peppers and jalapenos contain capsaicin. Are we really saying my hot sauce habit could boost my metabolism?
Well, maybe slightly. It's true, capsaicin may indeed boost metabolism somewhat, decrease body fat, and perhaps reduce appetite and calorie intake. So yeah, your spice rack could actually be a subtle tool in your weight loss journey. Don't overdo it, obviously.
Good to know. Now let's talk about mindful mealtime strategies. The article suggests things like calorie awareness, using smaller plates, eating slowly. What's the common thread here?
The common thread is really awareness and control. Just being aware of what you're eating, whether you track calories, keep a food diary, maybe even take pictures of meals with an app. That awareness itself is incredibly helpful.
Like using smaller plates.
Well, the article says more research is needed, but the idea is it might help you eat less by subtly changing how you perceive portion sizes. Portion control plates can also help.
Makes sense psychologically.
And eating more slowly is crucial. When you eat too fast, you can easily consume more calories than your body needs before your brain even registers fullness.
I've definitely done that.
Haven't we all? Fast eaters are actually more prone to obesity, according to the research. Chewing more slowly, taking your time, can help you eat fewer calories and might even increase the production of hormones linked to weight loss. It's about letting your body's natural signals catch up.
Right, giving your brain a chance to get the message.
Exactly.
And then there's intermittent fasting. This has gained a lot of traction recently. For someone new to it, how does the article explain its mechanism for weight loss?
It's described as an eating pattern, not necessarily what you eat, but when. It cycles between periods of fasting and eating.
Like the 16.8.
Yeah, there are various approaches. The 5.2 diet, the 16.8 method you mentioned, eat, stop, eat. The core idea, generally, is that these methods lead to eating fewer calories overall, often without conscious restriction during the eating periods. You just naturally consume less by compressing your eating window.
So it's about overall calorie reduction through timing.
Largely, yes, which can lead to weight loss. The article does add a note of caution, though, that long-term effects still need more research.
Good point. And finally, for this segment, the low-carb diet. Lots of studies show its effectiveness. What's the article's take on why it works so well for many people?
Well, by limiting carbs and upping your intake of fat and protein, you can often effectively reduce appetite.
The appetite suppression again.
Yes, it's a key factor. This helps you naturally eat fewer calories. The source points out that a low-carb diet might even be more effective at reducing body weight than a traditional low-fat diet, and it can improve risk factors for certain diseases, too.
But more research needed long-term.
As always, yes. More long-term research gives a fuller picture, but the appetite-suppressing effect is a significant driver of its short to medium-term success for many.
Okay, so if we connect all this to the bigger picture, it really seems to be about optimizing our body's natural signals through all these different strategies.
That's a great way to put it.
Whether it's the filling power of protein and fiber, the metabolic boost from coffee or maybe capsaicin, the gut health support from probiotics, or the appetite control from low-carb or slower eating. They all seem to work together synergistically to help regulate hunger and promote a more efficient metabolism.
Absolutely. It's not just one thing, it's the combination. It's about optimizing our body's natural signals and working with them, not against them.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because now we're shifting focus beyond the plate. We're looking at crucial non-dietary elements for sustainable weight management.
Right, the lifestyle pillars.
And the article stresses that getting enough sleep is incredibly important, not just for general health, but specifically for losing weight and preventing future weight gain. Why is sleep deprivation so, potent in undermining weight efforts?
It's largely because sleep deprivation really messes with the daily fluctuations in our appetite hormones, specifically ghrelin and leptin.
Ghrelin and leptin,
Yeah.
a hunger and fullness hormone.
Exactly. Ghrelin signals hunger, leptin signals fullness. When you don't sleep enough, these signals get totally crossed. It leads to poor appetite regulation and often increased cravings, especially for high-carb and high-fat foods.
So it's not just about willpower. Your hormones are actually working against you if you're sleep deprived.
Precisely. It's a fundamental hormonal disruption. Makes weight management much harder.
Wow. Okay, good to know. And then there's fiber, often overlooked beyond just, digestive regularity. What's fiber's deeper role in weight loss, especially the water-soluble kind?
Fiber-rich foods, particularly that water-soluble fiber, really help with weight loss in a few ways. They increase fullness, they slow down stomach emptying.
Keeping you full longer.
Right. And they promote the release of satiety hormones. So essentially, fiber helps you eat less without even consciously trying.
Right.
Plus, many types of fiber feed those friendly gut bacteria we talked about earlier, and good gut health has been linked with a reduced risk of obesity. Just one tip, increase your fiber intake gradually to avoid any abdominal discomfort.
Good practical advice.
Mm.
Okay, and on the topic of subtle cues, there's even this curious tip about brushing your teeth after meals.
Huh. Yeah, that one's interesting.
It sounds minor, but how does the article suggest this can actually play a role?
It's kind of a fascinating psychological hack. The act of brushing or flossing or even using mouthwash after eating can temporarily change the taste of food and drinks. This can subconsciously signal to your brain that eating time is over. It might limit the desire to snack or eat between meals. It's a small, consistent habit that maybe for some people could make a difference.
A little pattern interrupt. I like it. Okay, a more significant and often really challenging aspect is addressing food addiction. The article describes it as involving overpowering cravings, changes in brain chemistry. How common is this, and what does the source suggest?
It's actually more common than many people realize. The article estimates it affects maybe 20% of people, making it a major cause of overeating for a significant group.
20%, that's a lot.
It is. And the article points out that highly processed junk foods, the ones high in sugar, fat, or both, are much more likely to trigger these addiction-like symptoms.
Right, the hyperpalatable stuff.
Exactly. For people really struggling with this, the advice is clear. Consult a healthcare professional. It's a complex issue, often beyond just simple willpower.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's talk movement. Critical pillar, obviously. The article emphasizes doing some sort of cardio jogging, running, cycling, power walking, hiking. A fantastic way to burn calories.
Yeah.
But what's the deeper benefit here beyond just the calorie burn?
Well, burning calories is definitely great, no question. But cardio has also been shown to improve various risk factors for heart disease.
Okay, important.
And even lower intensity cardio can help reduce body weight, particularly that harmful visceral fat, the fat deep around your organs that causes metabolic disease. So it's really about improving overall metabolic health, not just watching a number on the scale.
That's a key distinction. And alongside cardio, resistance exercises like lifting weights are vital. Why is this so crucial, especially when someone is actively trying to lose weight?
Because dieting, especially rapid weight loss, can often lead to a loss of muscle mass along with fat, and that's metabolically detrimental.
Why is losing muscle bad?
Because muscle is more metabolically active than fat, it burns more calories at rest. So preserving or even building muscle through resistance training is absolutely key for sustained weight management and a healthy metabolism.
Got it. Keep the engine running strong.
Exactly. And for people who maybe struggle to get enough protein from their diet alone, especially if they're increasing activity, the article mentions whey protein supplements can be an effective way to boost intake.
As a supplement, not a replacement.
Right. One study mentioned showed that replacing part of your calories with whey protein might promote weight loss while actually increasing lean muscle mass. Just, check the ingredient list for added sugars or other additives.
Always read the label.
Yeah.
Good tip. Finally, let's revisit mindful eating, but maybe go a bit deeper. We touch on it with eating slowly, but the article seems to emphasize a broader concept here.
Yes, absolutely. Mindful eating is presented as a more comprehensive method. It's about increasing your awareness while you're eating, helping you make conscious food choices, and really developing an awareness of your body's hunger and satiety cues. Listening to your body, basically.
So tuning in instead of zoning out during meals.
Precisely. It's been shown to have significant effects on weight, eating behavior, even stress levels. And it can specifically help reduce things like binge eating and emotional eating by helping reestablish a healthier, more conscious relationship with food.
That makes a lot of sense. This raises an important question. How do we shift from just trying isolated efforts, like I'll drink more water or I'll try lifting weights, to a truly holistic approach?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Because what seems clear from all these insights is that true health transformation really goes beyond just diet. These lifestyle factors, sleep, movement, stress management, mental awareness around food, they're all deeply interconnected. They support sustainable well-being, not just, a number on a scale.
You've hit the nail on the head. This interconnectedness is key. It's about seeing how sleep affects your food choices, how exercise impacts your metabolism and mood, how stress might trigger unhealthy eating patterns. It's a whole system.
And that brings us perfectly to the overarching philosophy the article really emphasizes at the end. Focus on lifestyle change, not just dieting.
Yes, this is so important.
It explains that traditional dieting often fails in the long term. People who diet often tend to gain even more weight over time, which is disheartening.
The yo-yo effect. It's real.
So the crucial takeaway here seems to be making your primary goal about nourishing your body with nutritious food and engaging in daily movement, rather than just fixating purely on losing weight.
Exactly. It's a complete paradigm shift. It's about building health from the inside out, focusing on sustainable habits.
These natural methods we've discussed,
Yeah.
they aren't really about quick fixes, are they? They're about building these sustainable habits that support your body's natural processes, creating a foundation for long-term health.
That's it, precisely. It's about creating a foundation. And perhaps the challenge to you, the listener, is to really consider the why behind your goals. Are you just chasing a number, or are you genuinely aiming to build a healthier, more vibrant, sustainable life?
So what does this all mean for you listening? This deep dive into how to lose weight naturally. 29 tips supported by science.
Well, it gives us a really powerful toolkit of science-backed methods.
A comprehensive toolkit.
Right. And while the results, how long it takes to notice changes, that might vary from person to person, consistency across these methods seems absolutely key.
Consistency is everything with sustainable change.
And on that note, let's leave you with a crucial piece of insight, actually pulled from the article's frequently asked questions section.
Oh, interesting. What is it?
Doctors generally recommend a weight loss of no more than 1 to 2 pounds per week, trying to lose, say, 20 pounds in 1 month or 10 pounds in 10 days. The source says that's not considered a healthy goal and might even be harmful, especially if you have any chronic health conditions. That's a really important reality check. Slow and steady wins the race and is much healthier.
Exactly. So the final thought for you is this. How might prioritizing overall long-term health and well-being, rather than just focusing intensely on the number on the scale, fundamentally change your approach to weight management?
That's a powerful question to reflect on. It shifts the focus from deprivation to nourishment, from a short-term fix to a long-term way of living. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you. We hope these insights empower you to make informed, sustainable choices for your health and well-being. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.